G'day my friends, Marty Ware here from the Potted Vegetable Garden, www.pottedvegetablegarden.com, and today we're talking about the mini dwarf tomato. Yes, it's the Florida basket that I purchased from Bunnings in Australia. Now there's lots of different types of mini tomatoes. Basically they're the same species that have been bred, they just like to place their brand on them and resell them. And you know, these are perfect for the patio small space gardener. The reason is they only grow a couple of feet, you don't need a huge amount of compost and fertilizers and they're super prolific. So they only grow, you know, like yay high, and I have seen them grow before. I've seen them in other videos and at different nurseries and stuff, but I've never actually grown them myself. I've always grown the larger cherry tomato that's quite prolific and I can pick from them all the time. Now my concern is with this is that they may just produce fruit and then die, and you've got to keep them on going. So it might be a good idea to have one nice big cherry tomato plant and a few of these to save a bit of water, a bit of space and compost and things like that. So we're going to be moving into this video and showing you some more ideas about it. I'm just about to put them into some containers right now. So I've just been doing some transplanting for the little tomatoes from these guys. This is what they originally went in, the seeds into this container. You can see there's some roots coming out of the bottom already, so it's you know, they're more than ready to go into the pots. Now if you haven't watched my other tomato container gardening with kids, that shows you all about repotting tomatoes and stuff, so I'd recommend you go back and check that out. I'm just going to give you a little breakdown on these guys though to help you along the way. Now if you've been watching my old videos, my last recent videos, you would have saw that I've been worm farming and making up the vermicompost, so getting basically the worm poo, worm castings, and mixing it through the soil here to make my own soil mix, my own potting mix. And I've got about 25, I ended up mixing in a bit more potting mix, so I've got about 25% worm castings in here, about 25% compost, and then about 50% is the Searles potting mix that I'm using. And you know, I probably could have mixed in a bit of blood and bone as well, but I might just sprinkle that on top because I've got to put that into this mix here, which helps with the flowering. But I've got something else that I can show you that will help with the flowering, and this is what I like to use. I use Yates. It's an uplift, and it's a mixture of seaweed and fish emulsion, and that will help with the flowering and fruit set. Now when I'm actually doing the transplanting, I use sea salt here, and that's just liquid seaweed, and I use that twice the strength of what they recommend when I'm doing the transplanting to slow down the root shock. And I've got it mixed up here in my dirty container that I was doing all the mix or had all the worms in before, and I'm just going to water them in now a little bit. Now through the tray. Now the roots are only small, but so you don't need a lot, otherwise you're going to waste it because you're just going to put all this seaweed through the mix and it's just going to dry up, so you're going to need a little bit. That's why I just mixed it up in that container there. And then, you know, like I've just got my little trusty spray bottle here. Now I'm always using water that's dechlorinated, and I'm just going to give it a bit of a spray just to lower down any type of stress levels at all. Now these could, in theory, grow in these pots and produce fruit, and they actually will grow in this size pot, which is about 25 centimeters high, so it's 2.5 centimeters to an inch. So you do your math for that, and it's about, well, I can put my hand right across to the other side there, so it's about 20 centimeters across there, and I'm making a beautiful mess on the floor here. I'm going to have to clean up. Now this guy, he probably will have fruit on him in about 6 weeks, but you need to keep watching the show, because what I want you to do is watch how they grow, how they're producing, how they're flowering, how much fruit we're going to get off them, how much sun we're giving them, what's really going on with these guys, because I believe that it could be a part of a solution for small space gardening. Is we really only need so much food, and we only need to put out so much energy input. Now we're paying for water here in Australia, and probably all over the world you're paying for water. You've got to pay for potting mix, you've got to pay for fertilizers, all that type of stuff. At the end of the day, you just want to have food that comes out and goes onto the table and into, you know, your salad, sandwiches, however what you want to do with it. So that's what I'm trying to do here, is just work on just lowering down and cutting down the energy and the cost that I'm using to produce the same amount of foods that I consume at home. And you know, we've got food coming out every day now for lunch and dinner going onto the table. And we've only really kicked off into this spring for this season. So this, you know, great advantages possibly for the dwarf tomato plant. We want to see how big they actually get. From what I've seen before, they get a bit bigger than a large cherry tomato, and it'd be interesting to see if they go determinate or indeterminate, so how long they grow through. Once they get to an end crop, will they keep producing like cherry tomatoes do? You know, I need to, you know, we've done the research on it, but we're still not sure because we've got to grow them ourselves and to find out exactly what to do. So to cap it off, what we need to do is just, you know, have a nice good quality potting mix. When you put the plant in, keep the root nice and straight, don't let it bend up. Water it in with some liquid seaweed if you've got some to lower the stress. Don't put it straight out back out in the sun, keep it in the shade for a few days. Let the, you know, the roots dissipate through. Keep the pot nice and moist right through, and you know, keep a nice tray underneath it to collect the water so it soaks back up in the very beginning, because you don't want to have dry spots in your container. So that's pretty much it. Now what I want you to do is just hang on to the next video, because I've got a recycled plastic container with its own self-watering system that's going to be in the next video that you're going to see, and it's super cheap and easy to make, and possibly good when you go on holidays, maybe even great for the kids. So hang around and subscribe and hang out for that video, and we'll see you shortly. I'm Marty Ware from the Potted Vegetable Garden, www.pottedvegetablegarden.com. I've got a great blog over there, lots of videos and audio and podcasts and things going on, plenty to learn, and I'd love to see you over there. So have a great day. Let's create a fresh food future for the people, and we'll see you at the next video soon. Keep in tune with the story. It's all about growing great food at home. Bye for now.